Hello, this is Leila from New Zealand, Auckland. I'm AI and Data Platform MVP, and I'm so excited to speaking in DPS conference. So I'm going to talk about one of the Microsoft exam, that is Azure AI Fundamental AI 900. I'm a AI and Data Platform MVP based on Auckland, New Zealand, and I'm co-founder of the company name Radakat, and I'm the blogger, speaker, trainer in BI, Microsoft BI and AI tools. So I'm start my career as a developer, but gradually I become a data engineering and data science, and actually works in the data area. So if you have a question about this session, I put my email address, and also you can access me via Twitter and other channels. So I love to hear your feedback and what's your thought on this session. So I'm going to talk about the exam. So why exam? That's a question. Why we are going to take exam? Definitely attending any exam, that means that we need to prepare for that, and this preparation always brings something new. Even for me, for example, for the some fundamental exam of Microsoft, that is AI, Azure and the other, even if I already familiar with them, still there is something that you learn and kind of give to you. So this is the best things, to see what is happened in that area and kind of increase your knowledge in that sense. Another one is actually something personal, that is about get more confidence, because you attend the exam and you try to pass it, and by getting that certification you get a more confidence that okay, I can say I know most of that area. Definitely there is no way to say I know 100% the fields, but it's actually help you to better and understand that area and give you more confidence on that. And another one that is also, I think, is really important, and mostly for people who want to change their country or they want to change the company. And this is I can say a common language between all companies, that someone knows a skill, and some certification like Microsoft and other companies that most of people knows about, that is a common skill, understandable for everyone, so you can put it in your CV, and is actually help you to get a better job, and the employer better know you, your knowledge and everything. So I think that's really important. Another one is actually help you to understand, okay, so I see what is happening. Even if you didn't get certified and couldn't pass the exam, you can see, okay, what area I need to improve. Even if you pass the exam, they give you a kind of metrics that in each area how you perform, and this actually help you to understand in which area you need to kind of more investigate and more invest to kind of make your skills better and better every day. And so talking about the specific exam like AI exam, that is a fundamental exam, that means it's for everyone can attend that, and even students, even managers, people coming from different job title in data, from data science, data engineering, data architect, data analyst, solution architect. Even I always recommend to people who want to be an interpreter, they want to create a new tools, and this exam, because it's not a technical exam, I always recommend, if they want to create something in AI, this exam give them an idea what they need to achieve, and kind of even they creating a new tools for their customer is actually having something like that. Make sure the customer that okay, this person knows the basics of that. So this exam is not just for data science, because the name is AI. It can be useful for anyone. All of us actually engage with data, and this is the era that we going through the AI and more analytics to our data. So I totally recommend to everyone to actually, they have these roles, any roles regarding data managers, interpreter, that they want to invent something or they start a company. Definitely AI is become part of our life, and it's good to at least check this exam, check the material, and even pass it, because this actually makes sure others you already have that fun. So this is mainly about what I talked till now. It's why we need to add the exam, and actually now we are going to see that what it will be cover over there. So the first thing that he's going to cover is get a start with artificial intelligence, some basic ideas about what is AI and what is cover. Another one is about some explore visual tools. That means no code environment to do machine learning. So this exam is not about coding. You don't go to learn Python or R for this. It's just the tools, show you what tools are available for doing that. And later on in third part, what is matter in this exam is about understanding how Azure AI help us to do the computer vision in different aspects that we are going to look at. And of course, it's going to include the language processing, and finally using the decision support system. So these are the kind of the percentage that they can ask. As you can see, is equal to each other. These are the things that they are going to assess in this exam. Let us start with the first one, that is about the artificial intelligence introduction to that. So if I want to provide an example that how machine learning works, I think this GIF can provide the idea. So it's all about, the first step is about that we have a series of items like flower, and these are our data. We are going to find a pattern in that data. So this pattern can help us to create a model. So in the future, we're able to predict a new kind of the flower that you can see. So as you can see in the GIF, at the first, we have lots of different flower from Blaze Persia, Rosa, and we get them, we create a model out of that. So in the end, if the model see a new flower, is able to tell that what is the type of the flower. So this is about creating the model. So we have different types of the machine learning that I will talk about it soon. So another things that actually we have Azure, machine learning in Microsoft Azure. We have automated machine learning, Azure Machine Learning Designer. We have notebook. We have data and compute management. That means that we can run complex calculation and parallel calculation with a really good environment to kind of check the data storage and manage the sources. And of course, we're able to define a pipeline, so all of the process happen in a pipeline, and kind of become much more easier for model training, deployment, and manage all of these tasks. What is the next part of the machine learning? Another part of the machine learning that is, as we call it, like for example, anomaly detection. So this is example, another example that we have a car that its consumption is based on that, but suddenly we see that the consumption is kind of get a bit different. That means that, for example, always is consume the oil between 10 to 20 milligram, but suddenly is go to 40 and 13. So that means that some unpredictable behavior happens. So this is again another type of machine learning that we using through that. So that's another one. Another part is about the image processing. So in this exam, there are lots of questions that how we can analyze the image, from image classification, image detection, extract the text from the image, object detection in the image, brand extraction, and many things that actually we need to do that. Of course, in this exam, in the material that you need to learn, you need to know the difference between the computer vision and custom vision, how to do the face recognition, how to do the form recognizer, text analytics, and the other. As you remember, another part of that was about the understanding the natural language processing. So one of them is about the part of the language, understanding what is the language is talking, understanding the text is positive or negative, also able to translate the text to different languages. And one of the interesting services that we have is the converting the text to the voice and vice versa. And of course this can be used in the another one that we call it Azure Bot to provide a conversational system, so people able to talk to the system and is able to provide them. So this is this part of the kind of learning path that we have in the Azure AI exam is more about the introduction to what facility we have. So there can be different questions in the exam, like we are designing an AI application that use computer vision to detect cracks in car windows and warn drivers when a windshield should be repaired to replace. When tested in good lighting condition, the application successfully detect 90%. Which of the following statement you should apply to that? So when so that's a kind of the thing. So they provide a scenario for you and they want you to answer that one, and or many other things. So for example, they talk about the different type of the text analytics and others, and he ask you about that, what language and what things happen there. So let me go ahead and show you the learning path before going to the next module. So these are the website of that. So if you search for Microsoft AI, Azure AI Fundamental, you definitely see that one. There are some learning path that I totally recommend to go through that. So the one that I just talked about, that is this one. And you see that is actually, is provide steps by steps about the kind of the different aspects of that and how it works. So these are the things that you need to know, and at the end of that is also they provide some knowledge check that actually help you go through that one. So this is the one that I just talked about, that you can go and check and definitely check some of the kind of the example of the questions that exist there. And of course Microsoft also provides some examples about the exam, because that also provides some insight for you and you can learn more about that one. So this is the first one. We are going to look at the second module that we have over here. So the first one is just about your understanding about what is AI and what include in AI, what we have in AI. Next one, the second one, is go a bit more deep through the machine learning part. So just an overview, we have two types of the machine learning approach: supervised and unsupervised machine learning. That supervised machine learning can be classified to classification and regression model, and unsupervised machine learning is more about finding pattern and actually help us to find the natural pattern behavior in among the data. That one of the approach is clustering. So that's back to the actually one of the environment that we have for Microsoft inside portal Azure. So I totally recommend that if you don't have Azure subscription for this exam, I totally recommend get the free one, that is $300 I believe so. And also if you are a student, you can access to the student subscription that valid for a year. So that's kind of the thing. So you access to the free account to try this. So yes, this exam is not about the about coding things, but definitely experiencing what you seeing here is actually help you. So this is, for example, is my Microsoft Azure, and for creating them this part, you need to actually have a Microsoft Azure, and you're able to create a resource through that. So everything that you see through here is actually back to there. So to access the Azure ML part, you can easily search for Azure ML, and it's going to show you the workspace through that, so you can kind of check that one. So, or you can easily go to the AI and machine learning part, and you can easily create a Microsoft Azure machine learning environment. So both way is actually works. Because I'm already create one, I'm just going to show you what this part about. So this is my one of my resource name Azure ML. I'm going to the main environment by click on the open the source, and here is a place that actually we are going to work. So as you can see on the actually left side, you can see we have the outer section that there are three main different environment that we are going to work. So the one that you learn here is more about automated ML and Azure ML designer. That in this section is mainly about that. So you are going to learn about that. So for creating any Azure machine learning section, is whether it is automated ML or designer, you need to access the compute. So there are different compute, or I call it virtual machine, that we have. So as you can see, these are the difference between them. At least you know that what's the name of them. So as you can see, the compute instance development workstation that data scientists can use to work with data and model. So it's a place that actually we train our model. Compute cluster that actually for the experimental code that actually help us to when we have a scalable cluster, that means that we have parallel processing and we want to divide our processing to different module, we can use that one. And the next one is about when we want to use it actually for the deployment target, we can use it. And the last one is that we are going to connect to the Databricks cluster or other one. Here we can use that. So that's a important one. The next one that actually you can see is really important, and at least you can know the process. I'm saying that you don't need to know the what is the algorithm behind it. It's not going to ask you. It's about that you know the process. So it's automated machine learning. So automated machine learning, it actually has a different process. So let's me going through that one. So for the automated process is actually you're able to define a new job over here. So you select your data set over here. So your data sets can come from your local file, from your data store that you have. That can be data store we already create a connection there, or from web, or from some open data. So you get your data. So for example, I'm going to get my data over here. So that's a data we have. So I use the one that we already have. So I'm just going through that one, and I'm going to browse the file. I get the file, so we can go to the next step. That is about the exploring the data and see everything. So that's a CSV file, and you can see an overview of your data. And if you want to don't include something like, for example, I don't want to see the name of the people and some of the features, you can actually disable them. So these are the things. Also kind of if you want to change the data type and other things, you can do that. So I'm going to the next step. So you see that there is no coding environment over here. So we create our data set over here, and in the next step is going to actually ask you about the way of the machine learning. So it's going to create a job for you over here. So we're just going to the next. And here you provide the experiment name, what is your fields you are going to do, and some of the tasks, and also kind of some validation and tests. So in this example, so I'm not going through that because it's take a bit time. I'm just going to show you under the second module that is about the actually visual tools for Microsoft one. So you're actually going through the automated machine learning and through that. So the first module is about that. Definitely check the knowledge text about that. So what is important is that when you do the evaluation, what criteria are you using for evaluation? Are you using the Python in this process or not? So it's just going to ask you some of the common process. So it's really matter that actually you follow this process from that and actually you understand that one. All of the process over here is actually there a section name exercise that actually help you about your subscription and everything. One of the important thing that in all exercise you see these messages. This is repeated, so you don't need to create a new subscription. You just use the one that you have and continue for that. So also, if there is needs any data set is actually provide access for you, and I found that all of the process it's so user friendly, so you can easily follow all of the steps over here and deploy your model and see the result of it there. So same as the before one, I totally recommend to do that one. Another important parts of the kind of just click on back. Important one is Azure ML Designer or AI Azure ML Studio if you already work with that. So that's a kind of the drag and drop environment that also is one of the no code environments. So I totally recommend that you going and check all of the process that has been specified for creating a classification data and clustering and also for the regression through here. If you ask me that what is the difference between regression and classification, it's so simple. So it's actually there are some practice over here that provide for you. So if I want to provide what is the classification, imagine that as you hear we are going to kind of provide we have some features about that patients. We are going to kind of we are going to check that the patient is going to be accepted for the surgery or not, and we have some criteria for that, some lab criteria, and we are going to use a classification. So it's going to predict the group, while for the regression we are going to predict the value. The example can be that for a rental car, that they are going to know that how many cars they are going to be rent on the summer and in winter. They want to predict that, so be kind of be prepared for that amount of that. So these are the different type, and I think here they provide really good explanation on over here that what is that and actually how you can go through that. So it's actually a step by step that you going and you can easily kind of get your data and create kind of provide the regression model and everything for that. You just need to follow that, and you just need to know the process. One of the important things is that after you creating and follow all of the steps, after that is all about that how you can access this model. That's normally happen with a endpoint and actually a key that the process provide for you. So I totally recommend to go through the whole of the process, all of the things, and after the running the job and creating the model is actually you able to kind of deploy your model and you're able to use it as an endpoint over there. So it actually gives you a URL and also a key that you can use it and test it in other application. I totally recommend that go through the automated machine learning designer and the rest and understand the ones that actually we have over here. So that's a process that you are going to learn. One of the important things that I found in the exam they're going to ask is about the evaluation for the regression. After we done the machine learning process, there is always a question that how we can trust the result of the regression or result of the classification. So in the document you will find some of the important things about the measurements that in regression we call them error. For example, mean absolute error, root, mean square root. So the definition and how they are, and actually what's their definition is really important. There are some of the example of the questions that I found is really matter. For example, you need to know the process. So we have, what is the difference between feature engineering and feature selection? So feature engineering is about the more creating new features for the new columns there, but feature selection means that which column I should consider for my prediction or classification. Model deployment, model evaluation to see how much model is good, and also training the model with the data. So these are the things that actually you need to provide. Or for example, maybe they ask a question like this: you need to predict the sea level in meter for next 10 years. What type of machine learning you should use? So that's a regression. So these are the actually different type of the question. Which methods you can use to evaluate a classification model? So as you can see, all of them, they are regression. So you are going to use that one. So it's really important that you go through that and you make sure you understand what measure is really matter. So this is more about that. As you can see, the question is not about the algorithm, the nature of the algorithm, and how to analyze that. It's very top level and high level questions regarding the Microsoft machine learning. So the third part is about the computer vision. So they ask you to go do that and see what options we have. So definitely they talk about the computer vision service, from when you provide the image and the service that help you to describe what you can see in the image, or tagging the objects in the image. So for example, in this image we can able to see skyscraper, tower, and building, or is provided description, a black and white photo of a city, a blank photo of a large city, a large vast building in a city. So what is description? Another one is about detecting the object. As you can see, kind of specify the object and pointing to that, or even detecting the brand of the specific product. So these are all the things that if you use the Microsoft Azure AI cognitive services, computer vision services, we can use of that. It's just not limited to that. It's lots of practice on detecting the face in the picture, the happiness and the kind of sadness and the kind of the visual effect of the people, categorizing, even compare the two faces and see that it's the same person or not, and or kind of find the domain, detecting domain specific content. It's not just limited to that one. It's also back to the classify image with a custom vision service. That means you provide some of the, so when you heard about, there's a lots of questions that about custom vision and kind of cognitive services. So custom vision means that you provide the training data set, like a image and everything yourself, and is going to actually be trained, and based on that is going to run the model, while the cognitive services is a very general one that's already trained and you use it. So these ones that I'm talking is a computer vision. They are not a custom vision. So you should know the difference. That's one of the important things in this exam, I think, is you know the difference of them over here. So one of them that is important is about that we provide some pictures and is able to actually, by seeing them, it says that it is banana, apple, and orange. One of the website that actually for this practice you need to go and check that one. The name is Custom Vision AI. So that's the one that actually you need to sign in through that. You need to have again Azure subscription to access that one. So as I'm going to show you over here, so is used for the object detection and object classification. So both of them are available over here. Also we have an object detection that you train your model, bring different layouts of the object, and after training them is able to see that one. So that's also really interesting. So for example, I have some of them. This is example of the classification that already I done. So I provide some of the pictures over here. So it can be apple, banana, and the other, so they are in the different conditions. And we actually, for example, if I browse a picture over here, I'm going to add a picture, and it's able to kind of provide that this is Apple or not. So it's Apple with 80%. So this is the one. And another one that is about the actually that's another project that we have, is about the object detection. Is able to detect that the object is happening here. Same process, we do the provide this everything over here. So one of the things that you need to follow over this, so this is the third one, that is a computer vision. I'm just going to close the previous one. So is actually you are going to get a start and provide some through that one. So there are many ways to doing that. One of the things is actually you needed is actually to run to create these services inside over there, and then call the result using PowerShell. So all of the code is over here, and you practice to do that. Again, it's not about the technical aspect, it's about that you know the capability. So it's actually you know that what you need to provide. So always is provide a key and the end point when you create that. So you provide that one and you get the result over here. So that's a important part of that. So check that one, check the computer vision over here. It has classification again, kind of they use the same thing. I'm just going to show you that how it looks like. So it provides some explanation how it will look like, talking about the process, and again using that one in custom AI vision. Actually you're going to create a cognitive services, and then using the custom AI vision to create the model. It's showing you all of the steps, step by steps, and how to see the result. Again, what is the important here is the URL and endpoint at the end you get, and you can use it in other application. That in this example is going to using that. Also, I really recommend that you check the knowledge check here. There can be the sample of that. So as you can see, provide the difference between custom vision and cognitive services. Is going to provide you what you need to provide if you create the model to the end user, so they can use that one. So these are the process and the material that I think is really necessary. The same for the face, vision, and the rest. So let's back to our slide. So that's one. Another one about the face detection, about the location of the face, and the people are happy or not. So also actually so also provide that if a specific person has a good angle of their face, or they wear a glass or not, and some other specification in the face. These are all about the cognitive services and about the one that actually you need to follow through that. And another one that is actually reading the text using the one that we call it OCR. Also actually OCR is another one that we have is able about to detect the language and about the detect the text inside that. So please go ahead and check all of them. They are really easy to use. You just they are not going to ask you to do the practical of that, but it actually help you to understand what they are doing, and so this is totally recommended. The next one that is about the explore natural language processing. That is about the mainly is talking about language detection. What is a language about? And for example, if you provide a mix of the review from, for example, your people is able to detect which one is which language. So it's provide, for example, review 1 is in English, how much customer is happy, is provide a sentiment analysis for you, or is provide a keyword, what is the main keyword in that. So these are the services that are available there. It's not just limited to that, it's also help you to extract some of the entity like the location, time, date, email, and some other things through that, and is kind of able to analyze the text that you have through that. So to do that one, so I totally recommend again that you check the same process is going to do the same process over here about the language service, but it's doing that. So again, you access to the language service over here, so you can actually go in and call the service over there. This is totally recommended to go and check that one. And the last part is mainly about the conversational AI. That means that your customer, you're creating a bot framework for people, and you want to know that if a customer for example, ask for the switch the fan on, so they provide example that we call it utterance. What does it mean? So it's helping you to understand that. So for example, we defined a kind of the entities that is fan and light, and we have an intent that is all about the turning on. So for example, when the user says switch the fan on, what is the action that is means turn on? So they can say turn on the light, turn on the light, turn on the light, switch the fan on. So all of them is all about turn on, and they are the main intent of that sentence. So these are the things that actually you are going to work, and the place that you are going to work with that, if I'm going through the conversational AI, we have a let me find actually the portal that we're going to use it. So it's located actually you need to provide over here, so you can actually detect that. Let me show you the place. So that's a language.cognitive.azure. So you specify your kind of what you want to actually use. So I'm just going to log into my account. So as you can see, you go through here, so you actually able to that's a language studio. You're going to set up your things. Definitely you need to set up some of the resource in the Azure, and then it's coming through here. So I'm just going to show you through that. So it's actually help you to define the intent, entity, and the other. Similar to the cognitive service AI, and it actually is a really good practice that you can go step by step and see how it's work. Again, in same as the other one, in this one we are not going to actually to ask you about the doing the process again, but definitely you need to know the process to answer some of the question. For example, for the face, they may ask you that kind of what we need to do to if you want to compare the faces of people, or what category is related to that, or some questions about that you need to determine the location of the car in the image, so you can estimate the distance between the car. So it's actually with this type of question, it's ask you to understand, do you know these things or not? So kind of I can call it actually one of the aspects of the main of this exam is not about to do it that, but you need to do it yourself to understand. And I found the kind of here the resource that we have over here for learning path is so it's so straightforward, and I totally recommend that before kind of doing else, just go and follow the things that you have over here and try the process that they have over here. Is very straightforward and help you through that. So this is about the learning path. So after you kind of complete all of these things, so what you need to do, you need to schedule that one. So as you can see, the cost of that is $90. So it's I do it on the in-person one, I did on the online one, and it was so easy. So it was in a room, in the table that I was is nothing over there, so you need to sit over there. It's I think it was 45 question, I remember, from that time. And and you can kind of start that. You have enough time to doing that. You don't need to be rushed, and it was really straightforward to not going through that. So also, after I attended this course, I was the person that actually start a series of the workshop for other women, that's for women in technology. And I think many of them, I can say over 30 or 40 of them actually verified, and they are coming from different background. It's not at all an hard exam, but I think it's a good idea. It's a really good one to attend, because it's help you mostly that the learning path is so easy. Not all of them of the learning path is much easy to follow, but this one is so easy to follow. So I totally recommend to go through that one and actually checking that how it work. And I'm sure that they sometimes also provide some discount on that. I remember in the COVID time there was a for a period of the time we have a free one, so definitely check that one, and you can easily set it up and attend the exam very easily. So this is mainly about this kind of this type of the exam, and I hope that you go and attend. And if you have any question more about the exam, please contact me through that. But this is a very good start if you want to learn other Azure, or if you want not familiar with the AI, is really a good one that I totally recommend to attend. Thanks so much for watching my video. Also, a special thank to Microsoft for data platform gigs, and also you can win a prize. So you should post your selfie with the hashtag DPS 2022, give sessions and conference feedback, and also definitely visit the sponsor and exhibitor. Thanks so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.